The John Muir Way, Day 1. Originally, the plan had been to walk from Iona to St Andrews, following the St Columba pilgrimage route. It was a good plan, but then COVID came along and there was a lot of hills on that. I got long COVID and I could hardly walk up the garden path, never mind up a big hill. And so the plan changed and discovered the John Muir Way, which I thought was just going to follow the canal basically from the west coast to the east coast. I thought, that'll be lovely and flat. Wasn't quite right. It wasn't too far off, but there were some more hills than I'd originally anticipated. But that was all part of the planning. Overall, the planning was good. The execution on day one, well, Ed's train from Carlisle was cancelled, and so he had to get the next one, which was 1.5 hours later. It was the first train north from Carlisle at 12:58. The first train north didn't go until 12:58. That meant Ed didn't arrive until 2:10 in Glasgow. We were going to have a picnic all together in Helensburgh before setting off, but this now took place in Harkin's flat in Glasgow, where Petra, the girls and I were late arriving, having to stop at Stirling services after the tyre pressure warning light came on in the car. So in the end it was a very quick picnic and then off to the station to pick up Ed, who arrived on time. But then he turned right out of the station and up the hill. Unfortunately, we were left and down the hill, and I couldn't drive up when I'd rang him because it was buses only that way. Never mind, we got there eventually, and having navigated various roadworks, we finally made it to Helensburgh, found the toilets, well obviously, and then we were ready. Photos duly taken. I put on my All We Can t-shirt. We're going to have a picture on the official bench, but we couldn't because a family there was tucking into fish and chips. Looked very tasty, but they were on the bench. So we stood in the marker for the footprints, and at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon, we finally set off to walk the John Muir Way. And the first stopping place was Ballock, which I decided was a good name to practice pronouncing along the first mile, which was all uphill. Ballock, Ballock. At the top of the hill was a sign saying the Hill House. Now this is the house designed inside and out by Charles and Margaret Mackintosh. I'm sure it was lovely, but you couldn't actually see it because it's covered up to preserve it. Hey ho, Petra and Carag and Phoenix walked the first bit with us, and Harkin walked the whole way with us to Ballock. There was some lovely views across to the hills and down Loch Lomond. We kept an eye out for the John Muir Way signs and remembered the advice from the John Muir Way website that if you see a missing sign, please report it. Did make me wonder that. If you see a missing sign, please report it. Anyway, this was to be the shortest day of the walk, which was probably a good job as we didn't set off till 3:30 in the afternoon. But it was only 9 miles. We got there, it was a hot day, and dropped our bags, and then we found the local chippy for dinner. And yes, Harkin did have deep fried pizza. He had a whole one cut into 4 quarters. Goodness me, he could take it, I couldn't. I had a gluten-free battered sausage. Well, that's amazing. Harkin caught the last train out of Ballock at just after 7:30. It used to be 10 o'clock at night, but the trains aren't working very well in Scotland. Are they anywhere? Anyway, I was delighted to have seen all 4 of my children on this Father's Day. Longer day tomorrow at 17 miles and promising to be rather warm.